that understands it and that deals with it and that can help you is in Miami. It's almost impossible. I go to the doctor, I'll sit 45 minutes in the waiting room. The doctor will see me in 6 minutes and he's already prescribing medications. I'm going to put you on this, I'm going to put you on this, I'm going to put you on this, I'm going to put you on this. It's like, no, wait a minute. I'm not going to go on all this medication to deal with this. So in 2017, going into 2018, I literally was dealing with the adrenal fatigue problem, and I had to learn. I was also suffering now, by this point, started suffering from insomnia, where I would wake up 2 hours after I went to sleep and I couldn't sleep anymore the rest of the night. Imagine trying to run a business, you got employees, you got to deal with customers. The problem with understanding that you have to be on all the time as an employee, I got a sick day, I'm going to take it. I can't take a sick day. I can't wake up in the morning, decided I woke up on the wrong side of the bed and treat my employees bad. Be rude to my technician. I can't decide I'm not going to answer my customer's calls and ignore him for 2 days. Or when he calls, and this is irritation that starts to build up, and you're irritable and you're tired and you're exhausted and you can't stop. If you stop, everything is going to go to crap. The business that you've worked to build is you're already going through a separation. You've got legal bills now, tens of thousands of dollars in legal bills. Had to hire 2 attorneys. One had to hire a corporate attorney to protect my company, and because my personal attorney can't represent my company, he can't represent 2 entities. So I had to hire 2 attorneys through this whole process because her lawyers were going after my business. Yet, it had been less than 5 years in the marriage. I had started the company way before that. They decided they're going to come after me. You're having to deal with all this, and you have adrenal fatigue, you're exhausted, and you just got to keep going. And move forward 4 years where you go and separate, go back together. 4 months later, you're back at it again. You're back at the lawyer's office. Every time this happens, I gotta retain an attorney because I gotta protect my finances. I gotta protect my business. I gotta protect myself. Every time something like this happens, I immediately have to go get an attorney and talk to my attorney. So having this back and forth, finally in 2020, at the end of 2020, I decided it's enough. By this time, I am, at this time, the end of 2020, which is I think November, I had gone on keto 5 years ago. It helped. I had gone on certain adrenal supplements, and that helped solve the adrenal fatigue problem. I was functioning at high level again, and the stress, my body builds up, and I hadn't burned out at this point. I didn't understand I was burning out. I'm running adrenal fatigue, you're running on fumes. It's kind of like we weren't designed to run on fight or flight all the time. And as a business owner going through all these problems, you're in fight or flight mode all the time. You don't get to stop. There's no moment's rest. You're working 6 days a week and you're running on fumes, and you run on fumes for years, which is what I did. I ran on fumes for years, to the point where in 2020, when COVID hit, most people don't know this because I don't talk about it, but my muscles would spasm so much in my body from the stress that it caused 3 problems. Now, all of a sudden, I've got plantar fasciitis, which is the nerve at the bottom of your foot on the arch is tightened, and basically I wake up every morning like I was walking on glass. I would literally have to go in, put it in hot water, massage my feet. I could barely walk during the day because the tendon, and I'm going to tell you why this happened, because a lot of you are going through this. This has been a lot of research, talking to a lot of specialist doctors, listening to their advice. on YouTube. I had to literally go through physical work. This is when I started my episode, which you guys go back, where I started doing yoga. The stretching would help because my muscles would contract. When my muscles contracted, well, guess what happens to tendons? The tendons can't move. And they lock so much that literally my tendon from here all the way down to my foot, all the tendons started doing this. I thought I started going to the doctor because I thought I had, like, since I was pre-diabetic for a while, that I had where your nerves start, you become there's a scientific name for it, nerve well, there's a term that you get nerve damage, and I thought I had nerve damage. Well, the podiatrist sees me and says, well, I'm going to put you on this anti-inflammatory. All right, so I take the anti-inflammatory. It basically doesn't really help because it's not an inflammation problem, it's a stress problem. It got to the point where my entire almost left side of my body got paralyzed, right side. Plantar fasciitis, I started getting sciatica, and then I got drop foot. I literally was dragging my foot when I walked. I thought I had a stroke. I'm going to my podiatrist, I'm going to the foot specialist, which is the podiatrist. Bro, once you get these problems, there's no cure. There's no cure. So I started listening, believe it or not, I started listening to these guys called Bob and Brad. They're physical therapists. They're funny guys because one of them's really serious, the other one's really funny. And Bob and Brad are the most popular physical therapists on the internet, in their opinion, of course. And I started listening to these guys. I started doing research on every single problem I was having in my body. At the same time, I'm looking at yoga and I'm looking at physical therapy because my massage therapist says, I don't know what to do. I'm here every week. I can't loosen your body up. It's just in knots. I started practicing meditation. I started practicing, this was back in 2018. I started this. I started 2017. I started doing keto. I started doing yoga. I started doing meditation. I started doing the physical therapy, listening to these guys, why the problem was happening. It's just that nobody could put two and two together, that it was just my muscles. Because I go and get fibromyalgia, like a lot of people do. They get the widespread body pain. My muscles tighten up. And when my muscles tighten up, it just tightens everything else up. So my nerves, I just learned recently about nerve flossing.